It's over between us. Meghan Markle caught slapping Prince Harry in the car after receiving phone call from King Charles. An inside look at the royal blow-up that has everyone talking. Wait, what just happened in that car? Picture this. A sleek, black Range Rover rolls quietly down the leafy streets of Montecito. Inside, the tension is so thick you could slice it with a tiara. Then suddenly slap. A stunned silence. Prince Harry, red-faced and wide-eyed. Meghan Markle, visibly fuming, holding her phone as though it just delivered the worst news of her life. What could possibly trigger such a royal meltdown? What exactly did King Charles say in that phone call that caused Meghan to lose her cool, and for cameras to catch the slap heard round the monarchy? Buckle up, because this isn't your average royal drama. This is the ultimate behind-the-scenes explosion that's left even palace insiders speechless. A call from the crown. King Charles drops the bomb. If you've been following the soap opera that is the modern royal family, you already know that phone calls from King Charles aren't exactly filled with fatherly warmth and endearing encouragement. But what insiders are now whispering is that this particular call went from royal formality to volcanic eruption in under 2 minutes. According to a palace source who requested to remain anonymous, we're calling her Queen of Tea, King Charles didn't mince words. He allegedly demanded that Meghan and Harry cease all media appearances, return certain private funds, and, wait for it, give up their Duke and Duchess titles. And Meghan?
She was not
Having
it.
If you thought she handled Oprah calmly, this was Meghan unfiltered. Reports suggest her face drained of color before she burst into a heated tirade, right there in the passenger seat. What started as a whisper escalated into a royal rant, and that's when Harry got the slap. Now, let's be honest. Have you ever been so shocked by a phone call that you took it out on the nearest person next to you? Maybe not a literal slap, but we've all misdirected our frustration. Meghan's just happened to be caught on camera. But what led up to this moment? Cracks in the castle walls, a marriage under pressure. Let's rewind for a second. Since stepping down as senior royals, Harry and Meghan have been riding the emotional roller coaster of public scrutiny, privacy lawsuits, Netflix deals, and tell-all interviews. Their relationship, once admired for its fairy tale spark, has been weathering storm after storm. And it's not just the media. According to a few insiders and Meghan's favorite yoga instructor in California, allegedly, the couple has been clashing behind the scenes over everything from parenting styles to how many dogs is too many dogs. Harry, ever the diplomat, has been desperately trying to keep one foot in the royal world and another in his new California kingdom. Meghan, on the other hand, is said to be done playing nice. She wants a clean break. No more royal entanglements. No more phone calls from Charles, Camilla, or anyone who refers to her as Her Grace. Could this phone call be the straw that broke the royal camel's back? You bet it could. The slap. What eyewitnesses say. Let's set the scene properly. It was just after 3 p.m. The Montecito sun was shining, the birds were chirping, and traffic was light. Meghan and Harry were en route to a private event, likely another charity dinner or low-key Hollywood soiree. That's when it happened. A bystander near a boutique cafe reportedly heard muffled shouting from inside the Range Rover. The windows were up, but Meghan's gestures, wild and animated, were visible from the street. Then, with a swift flick of her hand, she turned to Harry and delivered the now infamous slap right across his mouth. Cue jaw drops. Someone grabbed their phone. Within minutes, #RoyalRage was trending on Twitter. And what did Harry do? According to our favorite barista witness, he simply stared out the window. No yelling. No retaliation. Just stunned silence. Talk about royal restraint. Behind closed doors, the secret battle of identity and loyalty. Let's dig deeper. Why would Meghan react so dramatically to King Charles's call? Simple. It's not about just one phone call. It's about years of unresolved tension. Meghan has been fighting to establish herself not as a sidekick to the royal story, but as the main character in her own narrative. And every time the royal family reels her back in, whether through legal pressure, tabloid leaks, or emotional guilt, it reopens old wounds. For Harry, it's more complicated. Torn between love for his wife and loyalty to the crown, he's often caught in the emotional crossfire. One minute, he's giving motivational speeches at the Invictus Games. The next, he's on the receiving end of Meghan's fury over yet another intrusion from the firm. Can you imagine trying to mediate your family's century-old institution and your partner's need for independence, all while changing diapers and managing Netflix contracts? No wonder he looked dazed. The fallout. Is this the beginning of the end? So, where does this leave Harry and Meghan? Rumors are swirling that this outburst wasn't just a one-time thing. In fact, one close friend reportedly told Page Six they've been sleeping in separate rooms for weeks. The tension is real. Add to that the ongoing financial drama, Netflix reportedly not renewing their content deal, Spotify pulling out early, and a sharp drop in brand endorsements, and you've got a couple under serious pressure. When Meghan slapped Harry, it may not have just been a reaction to Charles's call. It could have been the outward expression of months, or years, of pent-up frustration. Are we about to witness a royal divorce that makes Charles and Diana look like amicable roommates? Let's just say the Crown Season 7 writers are furiously taking notes. Relatable royal woes. Ever been there? Let's take a second to step back. Because sure, this is royal drama on a silver platter, but how different is it really from what many couples go through? Who hasn't fought over family interference? Who hasn't snapped in the middle of a high-stress moment and immediately regretted it? Who hasn't had to choose between peace and pride? The truth is, strip away the castles and crowns, and what you've got here is a couple grappling with the same stuff we all face, just with a few more paparazzi and billion-dollar trust funds sprinkled on top. And maybe, just maybe, that's why we can't stop watching. What happens next? The royal reckoning ahead. Now here's the million-pound question. What happens after the slap? Sources say King Charles is furious, not just at Meghan's outburst, but at Harry's silence during the phone call. There are talks of stripping the couple of their remaining titles entirely, freezing royal funds, and even banning them from future coronations or royal events. Meanwhile, Meghan is said to be considering a solo PR move, perhaps another exclusive interview, or even a new book deal that finally tells her side unfiltered. Harry? Insiders say he's retreating, spending more time with old friends, leaning on therapy, and avoiding calls from both sides of the Atlantic. Is this the end of Harry and Meghan as we know it? Only time and maybe TMZ will tell. Takeaways. What can we learn from this royal meltdown? Before we wrap, let's squeeze some life lessons from this soap opera, shall we? Boundaries are everything. Whether you're dealing with in-laws or in-laws with a crown, knowing when to draw the line can save your sanity. Communication matters. Yelling in a Range Rover is never as effective as a calm, clear conversation, preferably before you take a phone call from King Charles. Pressure breaks people. No matter how rich, famous, or well-dressed they are, everyone has a breaking point. Let's normalize giving people and ourselves a little grace. Cameras are everywhere. Just saying. Your turn. What would you do in that car? We're dying to know, if you were Meghan, would you have taken that call? If you were Harry, what would you have said to Charles? Have you ever lost it in front of your partner in public or private? The car ride that changed everything, a turning point or the final straw. The journey that began with a phone call didn't just end with a slap. It ended with silence. According to another close source, after the altercation, Meghan stared ahead with clenched fists, while Harry remained quiet, possibly nursing more than just physical pain. The driver, who reportedly overheard parts of the conversation, thanks to those thin Range Rover partitions, said the atmosphere turned so icy, I thought the windows were frozen shut. So, was this a one-off explosion, or the beginning of a bigger unraveling? Insiders now claim that after returning home, the couple spent the rest of the day apart. Meghan locked herself in her home office, while Harry took the dogs for a walk and later FaceTimed a friend from the UK, an old army buddy who, according to sources, is one of the few people who still calls him Has. A symbolic distance for a couple who once couldn't take their eyes, or hands, off each other. Hollywood's reaction. Sympathy, silence, and sides? It didn't take long for Hollywood to chime in. After all, this is a town that thrives on drama, real or scripted. A former Netflix executive who worked closely with the Sussexes on their docuseries was allegedly quoted saying, "This isn't just a PR issue anymore. It's personal." The tension is beginning to leak into their professional brand. And just like that, the line between royalty and reality TV continues to blur. Several celebrities who once rallied behind Meghan's causes have remained eerily silent. No tweets, no Instagram stories, not even a vague "thinking of you." Meanwhile, others, like talk show hosts and comedians, have begun to use the incident as punchline material. Jimmy Kimmel joked, "That slap might be the only royal thing to ever happen in California."
Ouch.
So now, Meghan and Harry not only face fallout from family and fans but also from the very industry they chose to embrace when they left the palace behind. Public opinion: Team Meghan? Team Harry? Or Team Please Make It Stop? The internet, as always, is divided. Some fans have rallied behind Meghan, arguing that constant pressure and bullying from both the press and the palace would make anyone snap. One popular tweet read, "Y'all want a strong woman until she actually stands up for herself. Leave Meghan alone." Others are Team Harry, sympathizing with the prince who walked away from everything he knew to protect his wife, only to get slapped, literally, in return. One viral meme showed Harry with a speech bubble saying, "Should have just stayed in the palace." And then there's the neutral crowd, the folks who are simply exhausted. One Reddit user summed it up best. "I came here for Bridgerton, not Buckingham. Can we please go 1 week without royal drama?" Fair point. But given how things are unfolding, don't hold your breath. What about the kids? Archie and Lilibet in the crossfire. Now here's the heartbreaking part. While Meghan and Harry sort through their very public mess, two little lives are